At exactly 10:45 this morning, the internal servers of the Records Tower at Windsor Castle completed an upload that has effectively ended 7 years of royal strategic silence. This is not another scripted documentary or a carefully edited memoir. This is the leak of Behavioural Record 1844, a classified dossier from the Lord Chamberlain's office that was never meant for public consumption. While you were sleeping, the digital wall surrounding the British monarchy did not just crack, it vanished. Forget everything you saw on Netflix. Forget the emotional interviews and the high-gloss California photo shoots. What we are looking at is the official, cold, and calculated heartbeat of the institution. At the centre of this storm is Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. For years, she was the quiet observer, the woman the late Queen Elizabeth II trusted above all others. But today, Sophie is no longer watching from the wings. Sources confirm she has been authorized by King Charles III himself to execute a truth-telling protocol that has been decades in the making. Before we dive into the chilling details of this dossier, take a second to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. History is being rewritten in real time, and you do not want to be left behind as we unpack the Sussex reckoning. If you believe the truth should always come to light, drop a yes in the comments right now. Why is this happening today, on April 12, 2026? The answer lies in a legal mechanism few understood until now, the Sunset Clause. When the Megxit Agreement was signed in March 2020, it contained a 6-year confidentiality lock on internal behavioural reviews. That lock expired 30 days ago. The Privy Council has now moved to activate Internal Memo HB 2026, a directive that reclassifies these records from private to historical interest. Sophie's voice is the one guiding us through this black box. In a reconstructed conversation recorded in late 2025, Sophie reportedly told a senior palace aide at Bagshot Park, "We treated her like a family member until she proved she was a strategist." This was never a personality clash. It was a hostile takeover of a 1,000-year-old narrative. According to the leaked file, the Royal Foundation. The Royal Foundation Forum in early 2018 was the first documented red zone. While the public saw the fab for smiling, the Lord Chamberlain's staff was logging a very different reality. The dossier describes Meghan Markle's behaviour backstage as theatrical intimacy. One staff member recorded an interaction where Meghan reportedly bypassed her own husband, Prince Harry, to corner Prince William in a hallway at the London venue. The report states, the Duchess of Sussex attempted to initiate a private, unscheduled briefing with the Duke of Cambridge regarding his personal schedule, citing her need to align their visions. When Prince William politely redirected her to his private secretary, the atmosphere shifted from professional to combative. This wasn't an American outsider struggling with British etiquette. This was, as the dossier describes it, a positioning play. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, recalls telling Prince Edward after the event, "She isn't looking at the role she was given. She is looking at the throne next to her. She wants to be the other woman in the Wales narrative, the one who breaks the reserve." The authority of this document is presented as indisputable. It is reportedly backed by the Metropolitan Police's Royalty Protection Unit and validated by the Privy Council's legal team. What emerges is described as a How It Works manual of palace defence. Observe the boundary breach, log the interaction in the 1844 file, and wait for the Sunset Clause to trigger. As analysts review the records, a pattern is suggested. Every time Meghan Markle claimed she was being silenced by the institution was allegedly documenting her attempts to reshape its hierarchy. This morning's leak is being framed by insiders as the first stage of a final audit. If these revelations seem shocking, there is more to come. What follows next centres on a garden party incident that reportedly took place just 72 hours after the royal wedding. An event said to have prompted Prince William to change his personal security protocols. According to the dossier, the evidence becomes even more unsettling when examining what security analysts have termed the proximity play. Leaked logs from a green room at Sandringham in December 2017 allegedly record multiple instances where the Duchess of Sussex separated Prince Harry from the group to seek private conversations with Prince William. These were not described as casual family interactions. The report notes, the subject consistently manoeuvred into the immediate personal space of the Duke of Cambridge, often bypassing established protocol barriers in areas restricted to senior heirs only. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, reportedly observed these actions with increasing concern. In testimony included in the files, she recalls telling her husband, Prince Edward, "She isn't looking for Harry's approval in these rooms. She is looking for William's attention. It's as if she's trying to audition for a role that has already been cast." One of the most striking claims involves the Buckingham Palace garden party in May 2018, just days after the royal wedding. While the public saw a radiant new bride, the dossier alleges a more calculated presentation. It claims that Meghan Markle wore Penhaligon's Bluebell perfume, the same signature scent associated with Princess Diana. Experts cited in the behavioral record reportedly interpret this as an example of mirroring, a psychological tactic intended to create familiarity and emotional resonance. According to the report, this may have been an attempt to trigger a subconscious emotional connection in Prince William, tied to his childhood memories of his mother, Princess Diana. One senior aide noted in the file, "The prince visibly stiffened when the Duchess moved within inches of him. It wasn't just informality, it was a psychological ambush." The strategy is described as escalating in January 2019 during the now infamous Royal Foundation Forum. While the world focused on the Fab Four imagery, technical crew members responsible for audio and floor lighting reportedly recorded a series of boundary breaches that never made the evening news. The dossier includes testimony from a technician who claimed to witness Meghan Markle repeatedly attempting to make physical contact with Prince William under the table. This leads to what is described as stage 2 of the mechanism, the visual narrative. By creating these moments of forced proximity, it is alleged that Meghan's team could feed stories to sympathetic media outlets about a secret, deep connection between the two. The stated goal was to manufacture a closeness that did not exist, and more importantly, one that Prince William did not want. The final and most destructive phase, referred to as Stage 3, is described as the weaponization of Prince William's politeness within this mirroring strategy. Every time he reacted with standard British reserve or royal courtesy, it was allegedly reframed to Prince Harry as secretive or protective interest. The dossier suggests this may have been an attempt to manipulate Prince Harry's perception, making him believe his brother was overly focused on his wife, thereby driving a wedge between the two brothers. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, is quoted in the archive as saying, "She didn't want the Sussex title as much as she wanted to be the one who could break through William's reserve. When she realized the wall was too high, she decided to burn the castle down." As these documented incidents from 2017 to 2019 are examined, the question shifts from what happened to how deep the alleged deception went. If such actions were being logged by security and HR years ago, why is the palace only allowing the full picture to emerge now? The answer may lie in a separate file involving Jason North and an alleged breach of digital security that goes beyond earlier bullying claims. For years, the global narrative has leaned on a convenient explanation to describe the turmoil following the arrival of the Duchess of Sussex, a cultural clash. The story suggested that a vibrant, informal American woman was being constrained by the rigid traditions of the British monarchy. However, the leaked behavioral record 1844 frames this narrative differently, suggesting it was not simply a misunderstanding but a deeper conflict. The American identity often celebrated globally is reflected in institutions like NASA, in the discipline of service members at Arlington, and in the resilience of entrepreneurs who build businesses from nothing. It is typically associated with hard work, respect for structure, and self-reliance. According to the dossier's framing, the actions attributed to Meghan Markle are portrayed not as an expression of that identity, but as a calculated effort toward personal influence, presented through a cultural lens. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, was reportedly among the first to articulate this distinction. In a confidential briefing with the King's private secretary in late 2024, she is quoted as saying, "She didn't bring the best of America to London. She brought a Hollywood script and expected a 1,000-year-old institution to play its supporting part. We must stop blaming a great nation for the choices of one woman." The 1844 file further claims that in early 2018, the palace established a cultural integration task force intended to support Meghan Markle's transition and help incorporate her background into the royal framework. However, a meeting at Kensington Palace on October 21, 2018, is described differently in the dossier. Notes from a senior aide state, "The Duchess expressed that her brand was too large for the existing structure. She suggested that the monarchy should adapt to her social media reach rather than her adapting to the constitutional role." This is framed not as difficulty adjusting, but as an attempt to reshape the system itself. The document goes on to allege that elements of American informality were used as a disruptive tool. Actions such as protocol breaches or decisions surrounding Prince William and even aspects of Archie's birth were, according to the report, publicly framed as modernization while internally recorded as strategic moves. Ultimately, the leak suggests that both British and American values, authenticity, service, and integrity, were not as divided as the public narrative implied. Instead, the situation is portrayed as a clash between institutional continuity and individual ambition. As these records continue to surface on April 12, 2026, a new question begins to take shape. If the cultural excuse has been dismantled, what was the true objective? The dossier suggests something far more technical and serious than simple social climbing. It references a specific breach involving the Metropolitan Police's Digital Intelligence Branch. According to the document, the alleged focus on Prince William may not have been limited to physical proximity. It may have extended into the digital realm, targeting systems that hold the future king's private communications. The events inside the IT wing of Kensington Palace are described as the next phase of this unfolding narrative. The 2021 bullying investigation, once widely understood as a workplace dispute, is now framed differently in the leaked behavioral record 1844. At the time, it was presented as a human resources issue, a clash of management styles within a high-pressure environment. However, the newly surfaced claims suggest that this explanation may have only revealed part of the picture. According to the unredacted files, the bullying allegations, while serious, represented only a fraction of the findings. The remainder of Jason North's report was reportedly withheld due to security concerns. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, is cited as stating that the core issue went beyond internal workplace tensions. It allegedly involved attempts to breach the private digital perimeter surrounding the heir to the throne. Forensic logs, attributed to the Metropolitan Police's Digital Intelligence Branch, are said to indicate efforts to gain unauthorized access to Prince William's personal email accounts and private calendar. The report describes a flagged incident on January 10, 2020, when an internal security system detected a high-priority administrative bypass attempt. According to the dossier, investigators traced the source of this attempt to an IP address linked to a residence in Vancouver, where Meghan Markle was staying during the early phase of the Megxit transition. The report characterizes this not as a technical error but as a targeted intrusion attempt. It further alleges that the attempt involved administrative credentials connected to former IT staff who had worked with the Sussex household. In testimony included in the file, Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, is quoted as saying, "The bullying investigation was the only element that could be publicly addressed without compromising the security of the Crown. The reality was far more serious. We identified an attempt to access the private communications of the future king." According to the dossier's framework, the alleged objective was leverage acquisition, gaining access to private communications that could influence negotiations during the Megxit process, particularly around security arrangements and branding rights. The report claims that when the attempted breach was detected and blocked, a public narrative emphasizing victimhood was intensified as a defensive response. It also suggests that staff members who did not cooperate with alleged data-gathering efforts faced the most severe internal pressure. These claims, if accurate, would represent not just an internal family dispute but a matter with broader security implications. As the situation is described, it moves beyond personal conflict into the realm of institutional protection. As the narrative shifts to the present, the dossier outlines what it calls a transition from defense to a sovereign response. A red folder, symbolizing urgent royal directives, was reportedly delivered to California within the last 48 hours. According to sources referenced in the document, this file, titled Palace Plan B, represents King Charles III's response to a separate commercial development allegedly being monitored for over a year. The dossier claims that Meghan Markle had been pursuing trademark filings in the United States for a brand referred to as the Royal Globe. This initiative is described as an effort to commercialize elements associated with the British monarchy's visual identity, including stylized coronets and insignia for use across media and retail platforms. Within palace circles, this is portrayed as a significant breach of the original Megxit agreement. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, is said to have characterized the king's reaction as a turning point, marking the end of quiet diplomacy and the beginning of direct action. As of April 12, 2026, the situation described in the dossier is no longer framed as a reflection on past events, but as an active and evolving conflict. Advisors reportedly quoted King Charles III as saying, "The crown is a 1,000-year-old trust, not a logo to be sold to the highest bidder in California." According to the narrative, the king has concluded that silence is no longer an option if the institution is perceived to be under pressure. The red folder is described as containing a legal mechanism not used in over a century, the activation of letters patent based on the 1917 precedent established by King George V. Historically, that decree was used to remove titles from relatives who acted against the interests of the British state. By invoking this precedent, King Charles III is portrayed as signalling a shift, viewing the situation not as a private family matter, but as a constitutional issue. The outlined Plan B is presented in 3 steps. First, a formal cease and desist order regarding the Royal Globe trademarks. Second, if those filings are not withdrawn, the king may issue new letters patent, potentially removing princely titles and placing the Sussex dukedom into a dormant status. Third, any remaining financial connections, including private trust distributions, could be severed. The dossier claims that a deadline has been set, April 30th, 2026. This is described as a firm ultimatum rather than a negotiation. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, is quoted as saying, "We offered them a hand for 7 years. They wanted the scepter instead. Now they will have neither." Reports suggest rising tension in Montecito. Legal analysts note that if Meghan Markle proceeds with the Royal Globe launch under these conditions, it would likely be as a private citizen without royal standing. As the situation intensifies, another development is mentioned: a reported late-night encrypted communication between Prince Harry and the office of Prince William. This suggests that internal discussions may still be ongoing at the highest level. At this stage, the issue is framed as extending beyond titles, focusing instead on long-term consequences and positioning ahead of the deadline. The dossier also outlines a risk assessment prepared by palace advisors, mapping possible outcomes. The first scenario, labelled collapse, is assigned a low probability. In this version, Meghan Markle files a defamation lawsuit against Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, in a US court. Such a move is described as escalating the conflict significantly, potentially forcing Prince Harry into a legal position where he must choose between competing narratives. The second scenario, exile, envisions a strategic retreat. This would involve a complete media blackout from the Sussex household, aimed at preserving long-term positioning while avoiding immediate escalation. As April 30th approaches, observers are no longer asking whether there will be a response, but what form it will take. The remaining scenario suggests an attempt to preserve fragments of commercial contracts by appearing to comply with the king's ultimatum, while quietly shifting toward a non-royal lifestyle brand. However, according to the 1844 file, this window is rapidly closing. The commercial royal glow is described as already fading, with global interest in royal-adjacent content reportedly at a low point. The scenario that palace analysts label as most likely, carrying a reported 60% probability, is referred to as the Great Divorce. According to the leaked material, this outcome may already be in motion. Behind the scenes, observers have noted a reported shift in Prince Harry's legal representation. Recent reports suggest that a retainer may have been signed with a high-profile divorce attorney in London, a firm known for handling cases within elite aristocratic circles. The dossier frames this as a turning point for Prince Harry, suggesting he may be reassessing his role over the past several years, not as an equal partner, but as a protective figure used to shield broader actions tied to protocol breaches, digital controversies, and commercial ventures involving the royal name. As legal pressure surrounding the Royal Globe issue intensifies, the report implies that Prince Harry may be seeking a path back, not necessarily as a royal figure, but as a son reconnecting with his family. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, offers what is described as a final reflection in the file. The tragedy of the spare is not being second in line. The tragedy is being the only one who doesn't realise the stage is being dismantled while he's still performing. As of April 12, 2026, the document suggests that the final audit has reached its conclusion, though the broader situation remains unresolved. Inside Buckingham Palace, Prince William is reportedly described as reviewing the full, unredacted testimony attributed to Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. According to the narrative, he is not waiting for public statements or media responses, but for a specific signal from California, one that would confirm whether the situation has reached its final phase. Sources claim that such a signal may have already been received, setting the stage for a decisive outcome. Whether the House of Windsor moves toward reconciliation with Prince Harry or takes steps toward permanent separation. The question now is no longer just about titles or public image. It is about the future direction of the monarchy and the personal choices of those at its center.